We started our trip in Quito. Quito is the capital of Ecuador. The city consists of over 2.6 million people. There we met with Brian Tibbs, his team, and some of the 4040s. And Brian explained his process of how he trained 4040s and why they were so impactful out in the field. They were making a huge commitment. 2 years of their lives devoted to living in community, seeking how would God use them to build his church here in South America. They devoted themselves to learning the culture, learning new languages, and listening for the Holy Spirit to speak and lead them. Amazing things were happening through them. 4040s are missionaries that are trained to spend 2 years out in the field together.
They're the missionaries, the young adults who are really just being all in. They've given at least 2 years of their life. They've raised money. They've moved. They've had this culture shock. They've learned new languages, new theology, different biblical things to do what they're called to do. They're totally in.
They train in community together with those they'll be in the field with, and they have this close-knit family feel to them. Brian and his team have put a lot of time in making sure that this process is reproducible in others.
Extreme Nazarene has I think, a foolproof plan of sharing the gospel. It's so biblically based in how they go about it, and a lot of the things that we learned from the 4040s, which are the missionaries over there. It's incredible what they do. So they go out into the community and they're literally just meeting people on the streets. They're meeting people in businesses.
The 4040's goal is to build relationships and evangelize, discipling new followers of Christ one-on-one and within small group Bible studies called Houses of Prayer. They work alongside a cluster family, which helps support the 4040s. They mentor them, they build them up, they pray for them. They're really there to guide and mentor the 4040s.
When you see what they do, I mean, you think about, and at least for me, I'm going to speak for me on this solely, how I thought that missionaries operated is not how they operate at all, at least not under what Brian has done over there.
The 4040s work hard for 2 years alongside pastor and pastora, and they're investing in people to leave this pastor and pastora with a healthy, vibrant, passionate church by the time they leave when their 2 years is done. Manta, Ecuador, is a coastal city of over 200,000 people. In April of 2016, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake hit Manta. Over 200 people lost their lives. Many more were left homeless. Just a few months after the earthquake, the Manta team came in July of 2016, having momentum because they were already taking supplies just days after the earthquake. Loving these people, building relationships, sharing the gospel.
The team in Manta was a special team. It really was. The people that they had there, and to spend the time that we had with them, and to see each individual there have these amazing gifts from God and how they were using those. And when this person was weak of something over here, this person was there as a strength. And to see that kind of operate as one unit was incredible. One of the girls' names, her name is Jordan Baker. And Jordan Baker is a homeschooled girl that had never been outside of her own city limits, so to speak, let alone out of the country. And she felt the call in her life to leave and to go be a 40-40 in Manta, and that's what she's currently doing, serving there.
And she walked up, and the one man that was complaining about a headache, she just reached out and just placed her hands on his head. I mean, just walked up, and that's what she did, like she had done it 1,000 times before. And the faith that she had, and these young people have over there that really believe that God is who He is. And to me, that's a remarkable thing, to have that kind of faith at that age. And so I just was overwhelmed by it.
Praying in Spanish with her hands on a guy's head, just with no hesitation, with no second thought. In those moments, I thought, wow, I can do more. God has called me to more. If this 20-year-old homeschooled girl has the tenacity and the just, oh man, whatever you want to call that, to do that, I know that the same Spirit that lives in that girl is the same Spirit that I'm talking to during my prayer life. And He's calling me to more. He is calling me to go and share the gospel with the lost, wherever that is. I'm not even doing that in my own community hardly, at least not like these people are doing. And I need to do that.
Ibarra was another city that we were fortunate to visit. It's located about 43 miles northeast of Quito.
The best thing is to see Ibarra, a church we'd partnered with a few years ago, bought land for, took a trip there for, to see where they're at was phenomenal. People who barely knew Jesus at the time, now in leadership of the church.
And though they do not have a building yet, the Spirit of God is alive within them.
That service, I will never forget that service. Worshiping under 2 leaky tents. It wasn't church, it was encountering Jesus Christ firsthand. Having the most amazing experience with Jesus I think I've ever had in my life.
As soon as I walked in, the tears began to flow out of me, and I could feel that it was from God. I knew it was, and I knew it was good. It was overwhelming to see that and to see those people worship in that setting and the way they were worshiping. I mean, there wasn't any agenda, no motives there. It was all strictly about God and who He is. You just sat there in awe of that and that worship. When they're done, they tear it all down and do it all over again the next week.
We have an opportunity to build God's kingdom, not just here in Kokomo, but beyond, in South America, in a place called Latacunga, Ecuador.
When we got there, it was cool to think about the fact of a church that we are going to be involved with will soon be here. Here's another plot of land, just like we had in Ibarra, where the same thing is going to happen. Jesus will be there, and people from the city will get to know Jesus.
To see what God was doing there at the beginning stages, where nothing had yet been established, but to see a vision for what was yet to come and to know That story can be my story. That story can be our story. That to me was one of the most exciting things I've had a chance to see and be a part of.
We kind of formed a circle on that plot of land, and we just prayed over it. Once again, to think about the fact of what happened in those two little tents, if that same thing, encountering Jesus Christ, will explode in that city on that piece of land. If that happens, like, wow.
This is a chance to go all in, a chance to truly partner with the church, a chance to truly, from the very beginning, be a part of their story.
Right now, the Latacunga team is in Ecuador, training in Quito at Extreme Nazarene's headquarters, all working alongside each other in preparation for what is to come. The birth of a new church. The birth of the hope of Christ in a place where there was none, where the good news has not yet gone. And our local body of believers gets to be a big part of making that happen.
Such grace for God to let us be a part of this. Because what will this do, not just for them, but for us as well? I believe it will transform us as well.